Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So last time when I posted VLOOKUP, you have given a great response and I have received pretty good comments from most of them. Like most of them has not posted on YouTube, but personally I have received comments. So request you all to post on YouTube as well. So today I'm going to take you through pivot table. So pivot table, you might be wondering what it is. Pivot is something like summarizing data. So it's like, for example, you have a data, like huge data, and you want to find insights, and like you just wanted to summarize and see the information. Like maybe in sales industry, you might wanted to see. Maybe you have cars, maybe you're selling cars, so you have 10 different type of cars, and you wanted to see how each car is performing, and in terms of sales and how much revenue you have made. So instead of calculating numbers manually, putting some functions and all that stuff and getting that information, it will be a complicated task. So just to make it simple, so we use pivot table, which is available in Excel from the 2003 version itself. Like it's amazing actually. It's like I have been using this from a long time, and it has saved a lot of time for me in terms of summarizing the information and taking insights from it. So before I get started, so there are three different things which you need to keep in mind when you like to run a pivot table. So the first thing is, whenever you like to create a pivot table, so make sure all the columns, like each and every column, should have an header. If there is no header, you will not be able to create a pivot table. So that's very important. Okay. And the second thing is number columns, like wherever you have data and wherever you have columns with numbers, that can be summarized into totals or count or average. Okay. So apart from that, everything else, like the data, like for example, you have cars and you just wanted to get something out of it, you can just do count, and you can put it into row labels or column labels. So you might be wondering what is row labels and column labels. So I'll take you through in detail when we get into the examples. So let's get into the examples. So why we have to wait. So in the example, you see, if you I have already created a pivot, so I'll just delete it off so that we can start and create a pivot again. So if you see in a school, maybe you are working as a school teacher and you wanted to see like how it is going in terms of the students. Like I have four students, I wanted to see how they are performing in on an average in a subject, or I wanted to see one particular subject and how people are doing. So you maybe kind of do sorting up and down, playing around with the table, but it will not give you the simplified information how you want to look at it. So to start with, select the entire data. Either you can just click here and click at the corner using the shift key, or you can just place your cursor over there. Just say Control A. So the entire data gets selected. So as soon as the data gets selected, go to this insert button and you will be able to see pivot over here. As soon as you click on this, you will get this. There is a shortcut to do this. The shortcut is Alt D P. Okay, so when you do this, this will come out. So it says Microsoft Excel list or database or pivot table, what you want to create. You just click next, it will automatically ask the data what you want to use. So here you have the data, you can use this one. So this one is a little confusing at the first stage. Like I would suggest not to use this shortcut at the first stage. So instead you can do pivot table, and you will be able to see all the options which you need to do. So select a table or a range. So examples 4 to 28. So which is like B4 to B28, which is already selected over here. If you have not selected any data, you can still go ahead and start again. So for example, I have not selected anything. Now I can go up and then select the data. So this one, use an external data source. Like if you have a data outside Excel, like any servers, you can use that as well to create these pivots. But it's a lot of time consuming task to explain. So we'll look at that later or in upcoming videos. Okay. And choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed, like where you want it to be placed. Like you want to create a new sheet and place the pivot table over there, or you just wanted to see it here itself. So click on this existing worksheet and give a location, because I just wanted to see the pivot here because I have ample amount of space to utilize. So I'll just click over here, then click OK. And you might be wondering, like, where's the table? So it will not come up with a table as such on its own. It will just start the pivot table format, and it will fetch all the columns which has been given over here to here. Okay. So this is the section where you can see the fields. And here are four different quadrants which you can use to play around with the pivot table. So one is filters. So by default, like as soon as you hear that word filters, it's simple. It's filter. It's going to filter the data for you, nothing else. If you just click over here and drag and drop the data over here, and if you see, the filter got created automatically. So if you click on this drop down, you will be able to see the people and then filter it accordingly. Okay. The next one is columns. Whatever you add it over here, so if I add it to columns, you'll be able to see the employees, I mean the students in the columns. And same applies with rows. From columns, I'm dragging and putting it into rows. If you see, the people who are is there in the columns, they have come to the rows. Okay. So that's pretty much in terms of filter columns and rows. So here comes the interesting part, which is values. Like values is something which you can summarize the data into, as I told earlier, some um count, average, and all. I mean, there are a lot of options. If you just go to this value field set, for example, if I dragged and dropped some, so which is 1760 hours in total, sorry, marks in total. If I just select this, see, some 1760, it's the same. So maybe if I just wanted to see the average of all the students, how they are doing, I can just go to this value settings and then change it to average. So I can see that 73.3%. So entire all the students together, they have achieved 73%. So that's how you can see the numbers easily. Now I wanted to see by subject, each subject, how students are performing. Maybe I can just drag and drop the subject. And if I see English is at 73%, geography at 70. So students are doing very well in history, which is 76, right? And here this is also 73. So English and science are closer. So we have to concentrate more on geography because they're just doing 70. So here, like, to concentrate on 70 marks, you might want to identify the students who are doing less marks. I mean, doing less in geography. So how you do that? Now take this subject and put it into filters. Okay. And take these names and put it over here into the rows. Okay. And change the subject to geography, the filter. Now if you see, you can identify the people, like in geography. So Ajit is doing good, but Leo is doing 60. So Leo is the one who is pulling down the marks. Even Vijay is also pulling down the marks. So this is how you can summarize and play around with the pivot tables. Okay. So this is in terms of in a school. So in terms of office, maybe in terms of organization, how I can see this data. Okay. So since you already created the pivot table, you can always copy and you can just change the data source. So I'll just copy from there. Now we'll look at into an organization. Okay. I copied and pasted this pivot table over here. So now what I do, I'll just go to data, and then, and sorry, not data, I'll just go to pivot table to analyze field settings. Field setting is for calculating the field. So right now we don't need that. Go to this change data source, click on change data source, and just select the data, and then click OK. And if you see now, the complete data got vanished. So you might be thinking why it got vanished. It vanished because both the tables has two different names. Like for example, if you see roll number, here it's employee ID. So that's the reason you lost all the data. So now you can play around pulling down these information. Okay, maybe I just wanted to see the utilization by department. So maybe I'll just pull department and I'll just put it available hours here, hours over here, and bill hours over here. So out of 4,224, 2,970 has been done. So now I wanted to identify the percentage. So since we have already calculated with the formula over here, if I just wanted to drag and drop this formula and see the utilization percentage, it will not show up because it shows up in sum, which is 16%, which is not right. Okay, if you just maybe like if you just wanted to convert this into number, this is how it will show up, which is not right. Okay, so what you can do here is take this off. As I told you earlier, pivot table analyze, go to this field, calculated field. So here you can create a calculated additional field which will give, I mean, which will help you to play around with the numbers. So right now I wanted to identify the utilization. So I'll just name this field as utilization percentage. Okay. Here, if you see, to calculate the utilization, we need billable hours, and billable hours divided by utilization. Okay. Now, if you just click OK, you will be able to see all the numbers. But if in case there are 0 hours, you will get an error. So just to avoid that error, you can just type in the errors. So here it is possible to apply all the formulas and functions which you have in Excel. Okay, I'm just using if error. Okay, and then I'll just say if it's an error, make it 0. So I just added a comma at the last and added a 0 and close that back bracket. So when I have opened the bracket here, right? So I have to close it over here. If I just click OK, I get the utilization percentage. I think there's some issue. Let me check the field items once again. Calculated field, utilization percentage, available as. Okay, I shouldn't have used utilization here. It should be available as. I'm so sorry. Okay, I just click OK. Now you got it in this format. So just select everything, use Control Shift plus 5, it will get converted to number format. So 70% utilization. So in this, audit team has done 75%, non-voice is at 63% utilization, and the non-voice tech is at 69%. Maybe you wanted to see by individual. Maybe what you can do, drag and drop this over here, take this employee name. Now you can see by individual. Maybe I just wanted to see within a department, I want to see the list of employees. Maybe I selected audit, I can see all the information. So this is how you can play around with the utilization data within an organization. Okay, so that's pretty much in terms of pivot table where how you can play around and all that stuff. And also you can create charts using this. You can pivot charts, you can just select the data and you can just go insert, click on recommended charts, and you will be able to get the charts and then add the charts as well. Okay, and if you just wanted to add something like a button which can simply slice and dice the data, so that is here. If you just go to insert, you will be able to see slicer. So just click on slicer. I want department slicer. So if I just click OK, this is a slicer. So instead of filtering around, going here and filtering one by one, you can just click on this button. It will automatically change for you. So this is slice and dicer. This is helpful in terms of sharing any report with the leadership. Like maybe your boss wants to play around and see, you can just quickly add the slice and dices and send it to them. They can just click, and you can add multiple slice and dices. It's not limited to like one particular slice and dicer. You can, there's no limit, like all, I mean, you can add all the fields and get the slice and dices accordingly, and it should have a proper name only, then it helps you to kind of do the slice and dicer. So that's pretty much in terms of pivot table at a basic level. If in case if you have any questions, please leave a comments on the comments on the video, and I would like to see you soon again, because it's been little tight in a couple of days. So please support me. Have a good day. Bye bye.